Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Living. And this evening, I'm going to be making some collard greens. As you can see, I got me some smoked hog jaw that I bought fresh today. And I made sure that all my surfaces was good and clean. And I'm going to cut me a good chunk of this meat off to season with. Set that back in there. Make it a different knife. I'm going to cut this into chunks. Put it in my pan. Turn my pan on to medium. They ain't got to be even chunks. Just wanting some of that good old fat to cook out of it. The smoked flavor out of the meat. You can use neck bones, any kind of smoked meat. I know some people do use turkey, but that's not my preference. I'm gonna let this come up to a good cook, where it's cooking pretty good, and it's rendered out a good bit of the flavor and the seasoning fat. Then I'm gonna start adding my greens. Oop. This is gonna be for Thanksgiving. All right. And I'm going to use these bags of Nature's greens. I got them from Walmart. They're already cut up and washed. I didn't feel like going through the trouble of cutting up and all that. We were running short on time with cooking. I'll let some of that fat cook down, and then whenever it does, I'll be back at you. Alright, I'm going to add me about a 1/3 cup of water. Just enough to go across the bottom. These have already been triple washed. I'm just going to add them right on in there. While that meat's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and add them in my pot over here, and I'm going to rinse them. Both of them. I like to make sure they're clean even though they have been rinsed. And I'll be back at you. Alright, I done rinsed them, and this is one reason why I like to go back through them, is because they throw in leaves like that. And I'll go ahead and I'll chop that up, and while I'm looking through them, I'll pull out what I don't like. If I see any big stems in here, I'm just going to slowly add these And then I'll rinse my other bag. And I pull out stems like that. And I'm going to let these cook down a little bit before I add my other bag. Alright, and whenever that cooks down a little bit, I'll be back with you. Alright, those is cooked down just a little, so I'm going to add some more from my other bag. Push them down. And I'll put me a lid back on them and let those cook down a little bit. I'll be back at you. Alright, I went ahead and added made me another pot. I cooked me up some of my hog jaw, and I got it in here. So I'm just going to cook these separate. And whenever you just keep cooking them until you get them to the tenderness you like. I don't like mine cooked where they're completely soft. I like mine to have some texture to them. Some tug is what I would call it. But whenever they get done, I'll show you what they look like. I'll be back at you. Alright, now they both cooked down enough that I could put them back into one pot. And then I'm just going to let them sit here until they cook down a good bit more. And whenever they get to about the consistency I want them to, I'll take the lid off and I'll let the water cook out of them. I don't like mine with a lot of water, and I'll add salt to them and a little bit of pepper. I like to see how the meat's going to flavor it before I add any salt to my greens. So about when they're about ready, I'll taste them and see how they taste with the meat flavor and all. And if they need salt, I'll add salt. That's pretty much how I cook my greens. Now, it'll take you probably about an hour, sometimes maybe a little bit longer. But usually at the most an hour for a bag of collard greens. And I'd like to thank you for watching Small Town Living. Whenever they get done, I'll show you what they look like. I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving with your family. Spend time together, love each other. And y'all have a blessed day. Alright, that's what they look like. They're done. I added a tablespoon of salt and a teaspoon of sugar just to kill off some of that bitterness from the greens. You don't have to do that with every batch of greens that you have. Add the sugar, but to these I did add a little bit. And that's how I make my collard greens. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.